Many years ago in ancient Ireland lived a king and the ruler of the sea called Lir. He had a beautiful wife called Eva, who gave him 4 children, the eldest son Odd, a daughter called Fionnuala, and twin boys called Fiachra and Con. When the children were young, the mother Eva died. Lir and the children were very sad, and the king wanted a new mother for his young sons and daughter. So he married Eva's sister, Aoife, who, it was said, possessed magical powers. Aoife loved the children and Lir at first, but soon she became very jealous of the time that the king spent with the children. She wanted to have all his attention for herself. One day she took the children to swim in the lake while the sun was hot in the sky. When they got there and the children took to the water, Aoife used her powers and cast a spell on the children, which would turn them into beautiful swans. She knew that if she killed the children, their ghosts would haunt her forever, so instead she cast the spell, forcing them to live as swans for 900 years. 300 years on Lake Dervara, 300 on the Straits of Moy in County Mayo, and 300 more on the Isle of Innisglora. The spell would only be broken when the children heard the ringing of a bell and the arrival of St. Patrick in Ireland. But Aoife's spell had not taken away the children's voices, and so it was that these 4 beautiful swans could sing beautiful songs, and were able to tell their father what had happened to them. Lir, who had been searching for his children, came to the lake and saw Fionnuala, now a swan, who told him the spell cast on them by Aoife. Enraged, he banished Aoife into the mists, and she was never seen again. Although saddened by his children's fate, Lir remained a good father and spent his days faithfully by the lake, listening to their singing. Their 300 years on Lake Derva were filled with joy, but at the end of the first part of their spell, the children had to say goodbye to their father forever. They travelled to the Straits of Moy, where they spent 300 years enduring fierce storms and spent much of the time separated from each other. But they survived these 300 years and eventually travelled again to fulfill the final stage of their spell on the small saltwater lake of the Isle of Innisglora. The king by now had passed, and his once glorious castle nothing but remained. One day they heard the distant ringing of a bell, one of the first Christian bells in Ireland, and the swans followed the sound, knowing that the end of their spell was near. They followed the bells to the house of a holy man called Cuihog, who cared for them for the last remaining years of their fate. The bells rang again. The swans' spell had finally ended, and they turned back into 4 children. Unfortunately, they aged very fast. They grew up in seconds. They got old in seconds, and they died in seconds. When the children passed, they forever spent eternity in heaven with their father, King Lir, and their mother, Eva, where they lived happily ever after, forever.